Welcome to Economics is Everywhere, where we debate current events and issues through the macroeconomic lens. We hope these debates will be edifying as well as entertaining. It's our aim to disagree without being disagreeable so that the discussion will continue and more thoughtful solutions to modern problems will be discovered. Our team present two sides of a topic so that you, the viewing audience, will be better informed. Scoring for this debate is more heavily weighted towards content than technique. However, it probably goes without saying that the effectiveness of the presentation is often what wins the day, especially in a close debate. Today's topic on Economics is Everywhere debates the pros and cons of laws specifically written to restrict the gun market in the U.S. Congress, state legislatures, and municipalities are all taking aim at the gun market by regulating and restricting law-abiding citizens. Those who trust in the government want gun restrictions and desire limits and prohibitions on gun sales and ownership. We are debating the restrictions placed upon gun sellers, laws that are written because of a bias against the market, laws written because the lawmakers do not trust the gun sellers. First, the pro team will argue using classical economic theory to persuade us that we should trust the market, that no restriction should be placed on the market for guns. Next, the con team argues against the proposed changes to the policy. They will be relying on Keynesian economic theory to support their position and to persuade us that government restrictions are best. Fire away.
Currently in the United States, there are restrictions on the right to bear arms, such as required licensing, bans on certain types of guns, and age restrictions. From a classical economic standpoint, this is wrong. The right to bear arms should be deregulated. From this perspective, we are in favor of the complete deregulation of gun control because of ideals such as the market is perfect and self-sustaining. Another reason is that the market automatically adjusts to booms and busts, as well as the idea that government intervention can only deter the economy because supply creates its own demand. The classical economic point of view says that people should be allowed to do what they want to do. People will make the right decision without the government or some other organization with power instructing them or what to do. As the rational choice theory states, people will act if their perceived costs outweigh their perceived benefits, whereas the Keynesian side of the argument says that people are incompetent and will always make the wrong decision. It is not up to a government or a governing body to tell the people how to use their firearms, considering they will follow their own free will. Wanting to place greater restrictions on the right to bear arms is also very similar to the basis of the Prohibition era during the 1920s. The selling and consumption of alcohol was made illegal to try to curb the negative effects it had on people. However, this didn't stop people from continuing to drink it. How can you guarantee the fact that restricting the right to bear arms won't make people less honest and place a huge upturn on the black market sale of weapons? It is ignorant to believe that if the government takes away every citizen's right to own or purchase guns, they will eliminate violence and bad behavior.
The average person has the wrong idea of what the free market would be like, since so much regulations exist today. Economic actions create secondary effects. Gun sale increases would lead to increased ammo manufacturing as well as gun accessories. The economy is in a rough patch, and free market economics is the first step.
One of the government's most important roles is to protect its citizen from all threats. One of the most important threats that the people face is gun violence. People are driven by their animal instincts, and it is the government's job to place regulations on gun ownership to protect those vulnerable to their animal instincts and those around them. By placing regulations like felons not being allowed to own guns, children not being allowed to own guns in unsupervised fashions, and mentally ill people not being able to own guns, the government can stop violent crime before it occurs. This is important because the government should be proactive and do everything it can to protect all of its citizens from threats before they occur.
We are not debating restrictions against groups like felons, children, or the deranged. We already have laws that punish criminals. Why punish law-abiding citizens? We have laws that protect children. Why single out guns as if they are the only way that children are neglected? We already have laws that protect the mentally infirm, and no gun seller needs a law to stop them from assisting in these fringe cases you're using to scare the public into disarming themselves.
The mentally deranged people are people as well. There should be laws and regulations that are in place protecting mentally deranged, felons, they are felons because there are laws. Their children should not ever have to they should not be allowed to have guns without certain regulations where they are under supervision by adults of guardian nature. Guns should be regulated because there are situations where people do not think clearly, and that the government must step in to take a hand.
A business owner does not have to sell a weapon to a felon. They can perform necessary checks themselves. They do not need the government telling them how to do it. They're interested in their own business. Their business will suffer if they sell a gun to a felon or a child who has no idea how to properly use the weapon.
Well, there are cases where that might be so, but there are also times where greed can be an issue, or where they will sell because of maybe the person coming in already has a gun and they want more for their friends, their gang, and since there are no regulations, they are allowed to have them.
People will not always do the right thing, but more times than not, a business owner will act in the proper interest, and that will not happen. As for children, there are gun safety. Children misusing weapons that their parents own. It's really more the parents' fault. There's more gun safety rules than that. They should have the ammo and the guns in separate areas.
So you're saying there shouldn't be any bullets, right? The bullets should be restricted instead?
No, I'm not saying that.
All right. Well, I think, yes, the parents should have the common sense, but there also should be laws for those parents that are irresponsible, that do not think that far in advance that the guns are a danger to children, and even to other people's children. What about an older couple with guns that they don't have children, but when someone comes to visit or something in a situation like that?
That really has nothing to do with regulation of guns.
We're talking about restrictions that would be put in place so that there's safety for the citizens of.
The rapid-fire debate is concluded. We hope that you'll continue the discussion in subsequent days. Now we have concluding statements on both sides. First, with the pro.
Our concluding argument is that the economy is suffering, and free market economics is the way to go. Starting with the gun control, deregulation, more businesses can increase their sales, and down the line, other businesses can increase as well and restabilize the economy.
Our position is not against the Second Amendment rights to bear arms. However, we feel that this is not an unrestricted right. Some certain classes of people should not own firearms, such as children without parental guardians, the mentally incapacitated, convicted felons. These are classes, just to name a few, that should not have access to firearms at all. And while we applaud efforts of deregulation to eliminate the black market, we would concede that the black market will always exist, if not in gun sales themselves, then in the aftermarket, such as selling hollow point or Teflon-coated bullets, silencers, mechanisms to make weapons automatic. So restrictions are needed to make the black market operation as difficult as possible, if not to cease to exist. And also the unregulation, having cheap Saturday night specials, unsafe weapons flooding the market from overseas markets really does not protect the citizens of this country. It only increases the flow of money outside to foreign markets. So there is no benefit for having unregulated, unsafe firearms entering the country from other markets either.
Thank you for both our debate teams for discussing this topic. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll continue the discussion as well. We also thank the handsome and debonair members of Viking Video Technologies for assisting in the production of today's debate. Remember, economics is everywhere.